The Arizona Cardinals held on for dear life to improve to 2-0. What's our confidence level of the team going forward? And they're facing some critical injuries potentially, Johnny Venerable.
Yeah, this offense, that's the discussion point to kick off the show. Marvin Harrison Jr., what does Jonathan Gannon think of his usage or perhaps lack thereof? PHNX Cardinals on a Victory Monday starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. Let's get those emojis in the chat. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Kindly like and subscribe, friends. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Bo Brack in Studio K. Noah Man behind the mic. We are here on a Victory Monday, although I see it in the chat. A lot of people, Bo, feel like it doesn't feel like a Victory Monday for an Arizona Cardinal team that is 2-0 for the first time since 2021.
Yeah, for those out there, please turn in your victories then. You can't celebrate with us. No. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. But if you have $200, why don't you throw it into Bet365?
Wow.
For PHNX Cardinals, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code PHNX365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Johnny?
A lot to talk about today. Flipping loaded show. A lot to do. People are asking for a rant. First of all, I appreciate this from Ryan. Johnny, congrats on calling that defensive touchdown. Thank you so much.
Wow.
That's what the show, no mention of that on the post-game show yesterday. What it should have led our show today, whatever. I guess it's just in the past, but I appreciate that call out. Respectfully, we got bigger fish to fry today on your favorite little fanboy podcast. Hit that like button.
Yeah.
So
we just put our pom-poms up for this team, don't we? Hasn't Johnny been doing that 2 straight weeks? Just been cheering on every little thing. Anything the team does, he's just like, stir up the Kool-Aid. Let me guzzle it down here. Right. Nope, not happening.
I told Bo before the show that we're going to get into everything. Drew Petzing, Marvin Harrison Jr., the injuries at the cornerback. But I wanted to get my co-host's thoughts on yesterday as a whole, digested 24 hours later. Britton Golden and I went heavy in the paint for about 60, 70 minutes. Bo joined the show. We had 60 super chats. You guys are unbelievable. Thanks for making us #1 subscribe. But Bo, you've had time to let it soak in your thought process with this team.
I was
not
like
necessarily yesterday, but moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, joining that post-game show as late as I did, it was like Donald Glover meme from Community where he comes back with the pizzas and the whole room is on fire. That's what I felt like was going on. You shouldn't feel that way after back-to-back victories and starting the season 2-0. I say you shouldn't, but I understand why people are upset about just, the path that this team has taken to 2 consecutive victories and the opponent that they played and the way that they had to finish each and every game. The Arizona Cardinals are 2-0 in spite of 2 erratic performances and things being in disarray in the final quarters of each game. And it's you want to see improvement from week 1 to week 2. You want to see improvement from last season to this season. And there hasn't been much of that on display. You can find a few outliers, right? You can see things like, hey, they're better on 3rd down. Like they were atrocious on 3rd and long last season. They're on the right path there, But as far as the offense as a whole, as far as Marvin Harrison Jr., like last season, it was, uneven throughout the season. And now through 2 games, you can say it's been uneven because you had one performance where you said, that looks good. I like it, right? 71 yards and a touchdown. And then you've got yesterday's performance, 2 catches, 27 yards on 5 targets. Said, I don't like that. So, it's tough to kind of take inventory here and take stock and say, hey, I like the product that I've seen on display from the Arizona Cardinals. It seems like moving forward, things have to change, because when you play what we view as better football teams in this league, it's going to be, it's not going to come out as, hey, at least he escaped with an ugly win.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could, notch a couple ugly wins, progressively down the season. I don't think that was their last one, but you have to be decisive and much better on both sides of the ball to beat the teams that are on their schedule, specifically in their division, which, by the way, has not lost an outside division game. Everybody's 2-0 in this division, minus Seattle, who lost the game in the final seconds to San Francisco. So it's a dogfight. This team, we counted before the season, needed to win conservatively 10 games to even have a shot at the postseason. They're a fifth of the way to that, Bo. But here's what I'll tell you. Right now, with this infrastructure of this team, there's going to be injuries. We're going to talk about the cornerback position later in the show. This offense has no excuse. And really, we're at a point now with it where you can go one of two ways. You can use this as an opportunity to say, you know what, guys, we have been underwhelming. We don't feel great about what we've done, whether it's a run or pass blocking standpoint, or certainly the pass offense. We're going to carry the weight of this team. But there were times last year where I expected that to be the case, and they, were idle. They stood idly by and watched this team fall out of contention 2-5 down the stretch. I am optimistic that at some point the run game is going to get going. It's going to complement the defense. I have basically given up the notion that this can be a big time passing attack. I feel like 300-yard performances are historic right now, and that's not necessarily a byproduct of like winning football. Mm-hmm. Man, like robust passing games, multiple passing touchdowns, big crooked numbers. Don't feel confident that this team can do that as currently constructed. I still see too many errors. And by the way, I'm not, taking a victory lap here. I said this a month ago. I said this during the preseason. I didn't like what I saw at joint practice with the Denver Broncos. I thought the offense didn't look good. And it's like, okay, we'll give them some time, and they don't need to play in the preseason. I mean, they've scored twice in the second half in 2 games against 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL, and they have 1 touchdown. I know that, like, in a weird way, the defense kind of bailed them out in 2 ways yesterday. They bailed them out at the end of the game to win the game, but then also everybody's talking about, oh man, what's going on with the defense? Why did it allow Bryce Young to do that? Mm-hmm. That was an anomaly performance. The defense has been number 1 against the pass and passing touchdowns since midseason of last year. So I think that's going to get corrected. I feel more confident in Nick Rallis than I do Drew Petzing. I have legitimate concerns with this passing game that just has no priority with their wide receiving core.
And we'll hear from Jonathan Gannon. And I understand those who want to point the finger at the offense and say this is really the true downfall and reason for the Arizona Cardinals to have nearly squandered 2 double-digit leads going into the fourth quarter. I understand that. It's also a failure in all 3 phases, both games. I think you have to keep, that in perspective. Like where you see that the Arizona Cardinals, they had a turnover in what was approaching the red zone after unbelievable play from Kyler Murray, which was at the time you didn't think it was that critical. You just passed it on and say, hey, that's a bad play. And, hopefully, Kyler doesn't do that again. He was trying to get rid of it and didn't get enough on it. And it's picked off and it's going the other way. And Carolina Panthers, to their credit, they're able to capitalize. So you've got the most uncomplimentary football on display possible there. And then you also have the snafu on the onside kick where you're not making that play cleanly. Mac Wilson's getting in front of the football where, Britton Golden's making a great point as a seasoned special teamer during his time. Yeah. He's got to leave that to the hands crew. It's like, that's a failure across all 3 phases. Mm-hmm. And I feel the same way against the Saints. You have a field goal block, some special teams. You have the defense not being able to generate any pass rush in the second half against the Saints. And then you have the offense that went stagnant in the second half. You guys want to all point to one reason where I'm looking at multiple reasons why this team fell short of putting this game away. You have Kyler Murray at 3rd and 3, cough up the football where you could have put a field goal potentially on the board, and it's 30-9. And I think that changes the complexion of the game.
My pushback for you, and I know this is a completely different season with new players, but it's the same coaching staff. And I would argue the core of this team for the most part is the same. Last year, the special teams were excellent. Defensively, they overachieved. The offense underachieved, especially at the end of the year. I mean, the defense didn't look good in the second half yesterday. The defense gave up 13 points the week before. Special teams I thought special teams were fine yesterday. I mean, made their field goals
all the way up until the
snafu, right? The offense has been a problem. Those again, I maybe I'm differ from you. I look at the offense as a constant, inconsistent mess, whereas the defense and the special teams have been correctable in the past, and I expect them to get corrected again. They gave up 13 points, and yesterday they scored a defensive touchdown and had another takeaway. This offense has a handful of scoring drives in 2 games. We watched Spencer Rattler and Mac Jones throw for more passing touchdowns than Kyler Murray's had in 2 games. I mean, I think they can beat bad teams, and I think they'll have their fair share of that was a nice win. But we talk about a ceiling, and it comes back to the 4th overall pick. I just feel like we're at a little bit of an end game here. And I know Jonathan Gannon spoke about
it's a bit too much for my take.
No, I keep I think my rationale is I keep waiting for something that I'm going to look foolish if we're at midseason and just expecting something different, and it's the same thing every Sunday.
It's not something that you shouldn't monitor week in, week out. Hell, it's under a microscope. I mean, it's the most polarizing topic, I think, on Cardinals Twitter that you could potentially find, as far as the offense. And it's the
But don't you think, Bo, that it's September 15th, 2025, and we've had the same question for 20 games, 19 games about why isn't Marv involved, and why does this passing game look broken? I mean, at some point,
you also have to kind of put in perspective what were we talking about last week? Weren't we saying at least Marv looked good, right? And I understand you want to see it look consistent week in and week out. You want him to stack performances. We didn't see him stack performances last year. It was outlier performances. He was good in week 2, and he wasn't good again until week 8 against Miami, and then it wasn't good again until later in the season. And I agree with you. And I also agree with you saying this is an extremely flawed football team through 2 weeks of the season. But to say here hey, I'm at an end game with this. I don't think I think we've hit the ceiling. I think that's a bit too much for my taste as far as trying to really kind of break down the Cardinals of 2025. I understand that there's evidence that's building, and every week that's what this, especially in our position and analyzing it, that's what it's supposed to be. But to sit here and say this is an end game, this is never going to get better, this is what it is, and just accept that. I don't know. I'm not there yet.
I know you're not. And that's okay. And then there are people in your corner. I'm not at an end game with this team and this head coach and the players on this team. I am done, though, going into football Sundays and expecting robust passing numbers that are going to lead them to a win. I think this team offensively has to win a very specific style of play. I don't know, Bo, I don't know how that can be argued at this point. They were top 10 in rushing the last 2 years. That's clearly who they want to be, even though it's got a ceiling. They are in the bottom half of the NFL, big explosive plays, and they're a 3rd-tier team when it comes to throwing the football. And they invested the 4th overall pick in a receiver, and they've got the second highest paid tight end, and they used a 3rd rounder on a wideout, and Kyler Murray's top 12 paid quarterback, and it's and none of it matters. None of it translates to a productive, cohesive unit. So I'm at the point, I'm not going to sit here every week when we do our Friday prediction show and say, I think Marv's going to have a big game today, because I just don't think there's any rationale to point to that other than just blind faith, blind hope, because I love Marv and I want him to do well, but I also know whether it's Marv himself, who certainly could be better, the play calling, which, if you listen to Britton Golden yesterday, is about as vanilla as it gets passing game concepts.
Yeah.
And then Kyler Murray, who is a good player but can be inconsistent. I think you've got a melting pot here of a bunch of puzzle pieces that do not fit together for whatever reason. I think Drew Petzing fits really well with James Conner and Trey McBride and Tip Ryman and Paris Johnson Jr. But in terms of like Kyler and Marv and Michael Wilson, Michael Wilson, his usage is baffling. It's awful. Somebody who was trending up in 2023, well, it was because they had nobody else, I guess, in hindsight. So I'm exhausted by this. I don't know where else to go at this point because I look at this team and I look around the NFL and it's just like, you have good players. You have players that other teams would kill for. Mm-hmm. We're talking about this team they're an underdog now to Mac Jones. And they have Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. And it's not, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not an underdog because they're going to miss some corners this week. They're an underdog because this offense, we don't trust it to score 24 points in Santa Clara. I don't. They've scored 20 points the last 2 weeks. They had a defensive touchdown. They gave them 7. You can make an argument. They got a takeaway. They gifted them another 3 points. They couldn't cash in the red zone.
Right.
So it's very disappointing. And the most disappointing factor is we felt this way so many times at the end of last year.
Yeah.
You had like 7 months to do something about it, and you chose to do nothing. They didn't do anything.
Well, look, we have seen them get a little bit more explosive in the passing game. It hasn't been a Marv, even though it was week 1 to Marv. He had 45-yard reception. You've got explosive to Trey. You had a couple yesterday. Like people want here. You guys should need to whittle it down to what you want. You want the ball to go to Marvin Harrison Jr. But if it doesn't specifically go to Marv, it doesn't go to 18. You don't look at anything else that they do offensively. You don't look at.
I don't think that's true. I think they look at the passing yards to receivers is amongst the worst in the NFL since Drew Petzing took over.
So you don't care about the ability to move the football. If it goes to Higgins, if it goes to Trey McBride, it doesn't qualify.
They have been one of the worst teams throwing the football since Drew took over the offense.
Right. Let's talk about this year. Let's talk about this year. What have you seen through 2 games?
Uneven. And I think
to Marv.
Well, I made an argument last week. Go pull the tape from like Monday, Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And this is when you walked off the set. Remember that last Monday?
Yeah, that was a joke.
I know, but
I saw somebody saying, don't laugh, guys. Don't take it that serious. We're talking football here. I was
using it as an example of like, I've been bringing this up. Like we applauded Marv's 45-yard catch. And that's how low our standards are. And that was the point I was trying to make last week. And then it's like, this week, it's like, well, Marv, 2 catches, 28 yards. But remember that catch he had last week? Remember when he had 70 yards against the Saints, against the worst team in the NFL? Like, you played the Saints and the Panthers at home.
Right.
And we haven't gotten to the point where your run game has eroded. And that was the only thing, Drew, that you were good at. And now it's like, oh, yeah, in the passing game, still bad. Still bad. We can't, like, what about that play Kyler Murray had, that misconnection with Michael Wilson at the end of the game where that third down, he just threw it. Nobody was there. That's a perfect encapsulation of the lack of cohesion with the wide receiver and the quarterback and the play caller.
Look, you've got 2 double-digit leads in the second half in both games.
Yeah.
And you can't run the football. You're saying you can't pass the ball. That's... To me, that's what you get 1 possession after that. Your defense affords you 1 possession after that.
Well, these are bad teams, though. And I think everybody understands that. And you're getting, again, how many times do we say it over the summer? Like, yes, style points matter in these first couple games. We want to feel good about this. Like, these are terrible teams. The Panthers, they're talking about like they could go, top 5, have a top 5 pick. Now, the Saints are a little bit better than I thought offensively.
I think they're still destined for the bottom of the NFL.
Mac Jones threw 3 touchdowns against the Saints team.
Don't get overwhelmed by what Mac Jones is doing. Like you get lost in other.
I can compare it to the Cardinals just played that team and couldn't throw the ball in the second half
because they were trying to establish the run.
But it was
they wanted to take the air out of the football. They wanted to play with the lead, and they couldn't. I don't understand like why people have a tough time grasping that, at least. Do you understand? Like that's what football teams, they want to salt the clock away. So they try to establish the run, and they couldn't do it. That's a big issue here. I'm not saying it's the main reason of why they can't throw the football consistently and that your sweet baby Marv, we all want to see Marv succeed. I want to see it. But like this, like whatever DEFCON we're at as far as this offense, I think you guys are just a little too going too far.
They've been one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL the last 3 years, and it looks the same.
Right.
I mean, you're the one who came at me because I signed up for a 9-8 season and a playoff win. You're like, have some standards.
Yeah.
Shoot bigger than that. And I'm sitting here saying, hey, despite
I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying this is a flawed team. The team has a long way to go. Offensively, defensively.
Can I just say, I'll be positive. I feel great about the defensive coaching staff. I think Nick Rallis and Jonathan Gannon are going to navigate this cornerback situation.
Yeah.
I think the run defense has been great. I thought Greg Dortch was great.
Even bring up 4th and 16. Yeah, that's cool. I'm mad about the offense.
They didn't score
on 4th and 16.
What is the resume? What is the
son of a bitch?
This is a family show. This is a family show. What is the resume though? You're cherry picking. You have one game of Drew Petzing kind of being not great in the fourth quarter. I have 19 games of Marvin Harrison Jr. malpractice here at my disposal. Like Drew's allowed to have a bad fourth quarter. And by the way, they got the win. And that was after the offense was like, I guess we'll just do nothing now. It's like, Kyler, can the offense like put this game away for us with one first down back-to-back weeks? And the offense is like, nope, sure can't. Because you know what? We scored our 20 points. Time to ramp it down. I mean, I can't believe we're having this conversation. That's why I'm like exhausted.
I agree with you. I agree with that.
We had a 2-hour postgame show yesterday. I'm exhausted by this because it's so. Even if, and it's going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
Even if they had lost one of these first 2 games.
Yeah.
If Kyler Murray and this passing game and this offense in general looked better, looked different, felt like we had stuff to build on. A weird way, I might feel better today.
Yeah.
I am so down on this passing game that it looks broken to me.
Yeah.
We have some pretty damning statistics. I stayed up way too late last night. We put together a graphic. We're going to get to it. Noah's screaming at me. We got to get.
Okay. Who is this? Sag saying, Bo, you're fired. Bring in BG. Yeah, let's just bring in BG. And we're just going to go, you know what, Johnny, you're right. And then BG's going to go.
That's not what the post game. I said it with the playoff team yesterday.
We're gonna hold hands and we're gonna agree on everything. Is that gonna be a good show? Do people want to see that? You want to just let's bring in everybody. We're all gonna agree. Oh, let's fire Petzing. And then what do we do after that?
I'm not
angry about Petzing again. Son of a gun. The run game sucks, and the offensive line sucks. And the wide receivers, they can't get open.
I like the players. I really like the players. I think the players are great. Listen, they're not firing Drew.
Yeah.
And they sure as hell aren't firing him in season. But I'm allowed to have 7 months of hope and watch two football games and it looks the same as last year and be disappointed. That's allowed. That's allowed with this fan base.
I didn't say you can't say that.
No, I'm just saying we were talking all summer. It's like, it'll be better. This will be better. And then I went to training camp and I'm like, is it better? And it's not better. But I'll tell you what, we got some damning statistics right around the corner. Man, oh man, what a start to the week. It's PHNX.
Please.
Give my guy Bo some credit here. He probably just needs a little Circle K meal deal action. That'll get him going. $3 meal deal, hot dog or tornado, Frito-Lay's chips, Polar Pop, 44 ounces, just $3. $4 meal deal matrix, Circle K breakfast, Sammy hash brown, any 16-ounce Bang energy drink, C4, Ghost, medium coffee or Polar Pop, 44 ounces, and the $5 meal deal, 2 slices of za, any 20-ounce soda or Polar Pop up to 44 ounces. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. I need Circle K in the worst way. I need to Circle K cope hard after that performance yesterday.
I got this water from Circle K. Love Circle K. Hit it up every day on my way to the facility. Also, can't wait for this. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Johnny, you and I, we did a staycation there this summer back when we were getting along. Man, remember those times?
Yeah,
we used to be friends. Now those are gone by the wayside. But look, we're going to try to get those back on track. With a visit to Gila River Resorts and Casinos, it's our Cardinals road game headquarters. Check them out. Also, check out all 4 locations: Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Bequeva, Santan Mountain. Experience the best the Valley has to offer. Lounge with either of the AAA 4-Diamond Resorts and let relaxation take charge. Oh, and you like gaming, you like winning money, will achieve legendary status there. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos with over 4,500 slots, live table games, and catch all the action at all the sports book. Check them out right now. You do you, Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Everybody hit that like button. Become a YouTube sponsor. $5. You get to hang with the emojis like, I don't know, Hold the Line. We've got maybe a Devin Booker head, which is great. We got the Dueling Lives, which is my favorite. My least favorite
I like
is
the dub. The W one's solid. I see
cool.
that get thrown around.
My ask of everybody is become a supporter, but just don't do the Johnny Chugs. That's my
Johnny Chugs are, you have to do the Johnny Chugs.
I like them.
Yeah, who doesn't? The only person that doesn't like them is Johnny.
You know what I feel like? I feel like
it's like me with Petzing. I'm the lone person. Johnny's the lone person that doesn't like the Johnny Chugs.
I feel like college football from 5-10 years ago, and where's my NIL money with that? You're using my likeness. Let's go. Come on now. It's like when they had to get rid of NCAA football. You are on an island with Drew.
It's your legacy. It's your legacy, that Chug.
We're gonna do some numbies here. We're big on numbies on this show. We've got a graphic. Noah Man went in the lab today. Here are some I'm going to pose these numbers to my co-host and get his reaction. Noah Man, let's see it. Petzing problems? All right, so rapid fire.
He's Akon, man. He's locked up.
Lock up the play sheet. Some of these are recent, some are not. In Drew Petzing's tenure, Kyler Murray, Josh Dobbs, Kyler Murray has 300. Just one 300-yard passing multi-touchdown performance. So 300-plus yard passing game with 2 or more touchdowns just one time. He did it 11 times with Cliff Kingsbury. Drew Petzing has 2 100-yard wide receiving performances. Both came from Marv last year. That does not include Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison Jr. is averaging roughly for his career 5.5 yards or 5.5 targets per game. By comparison, Malik Neighbors is somewhere in the vicinity of 12 targets per game. So far this year, the Cardinals in 2 games have 1 offensive touchdown in the second half. And for this year and last year, the Cardinals are averaging 23.5 points per game as they opened up against 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL. If you take away the Cardinals' defensive touchdown, that is 20 points per game. And then to the chef's kiss, the Cardinals are the 5th worst receiving team since Drew Petzing took over, meaning tight ends, backs, receivers. In terms of receiving yards, they're the 5th worst in the NFL with the likes of the Giants, the Patriots, the Chicago Bears, and the Carolina Panthers. All of those teams, minus the Giants and the Cardinals, have made changes at play caller during that time. The Giants, of course, have Brian Daboll, who looks like they've gotten their act together a little bit with their passing game.
Yeah, these are not great numbers. I don't think anybody can deny that. Luckily, the defensive touchdown does count towards your point total.
It does. We'll give that.
Good. That is good. But yeah, I mean, I think the most damning there is the 5.5 targets to Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, like we've been saying that since game 1, right? You got to get him more in rhythm. I mean, Marv has been talking about getting in, how he is in rhythm and how he's not in rhythm. And it's mostly, he's got to get looks. He's got to get, his hands on the football. Like when you see guys like T-Mac, for instance, yesterday, Tedero McMillan, I was talking with our guy, Damon Dog. He was walking around with a big, crap-eating grin because T-Mac showed out yesterday, 100-yard performance in week 2 of his NFL career. And he was showing it off. He was doing it all over the field, whether it was, catching a screen and making a play, getting some yak yardage or making a play downfield. Like he was getting the opportunities, and like you for once, just try it out, right? Drew, just try this one on for a change and just see if you like it. Just see how it makes you feel. Take it for a test drive. just, let your hair down for once. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. I think those are pretty damning. Those are bad numbers. Like you can't get away from that. And, I think you could look to a couple of the positives, right? Outside of the first 2 games of this season, like the reason we're not abandoning the idea that the Cardinals can establish the run game is because of the previous proof of performance from the last 2 seasons where they did run the ball very effectively. Also, the ability to get the ball to Trey McBride and the tight ends. And that was actually on full display on Sunday. Like what we didn't see from Marvin Harrison Jr., we got from Trey McBride and Elijah Higgins. Elijah Higgins came up with 2 big plays on a touchdown scoring game drive that helped put that game. It should have been on ice. It should have been 20. It was 27-3. But they have a big problem. They do have a big problem as far as getting the football to wide receivers and getting the wide receivers involved consistently in this offense. That's undeniable, and those numbers prove that.
Yeah, and again, I think Justin Fry eventually smoothed this out. I think, listen, the pass protection was already, I thought, a little bit better yesterday. They didn't give up 5 sacks; they gave up 1, so that's a positive. Mm-hmm. The run offense, if you take away, I think Trey Benson and Kyler Murray's 2 big runs this year, it's a putrid run offense. I don't expect that to continue. I think people clamoring for Isaiah Adams to be benched. Like, no, he's going to play through this. The best way you get better is by playing. Yeah. I think, we'll talk about it later. Like,
there's help if you needed it, right, down the line if you do need it. But also it's there for injuries. But yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah, but again, correctable. All of this is correctable, except in my opinion for the passing game, concepts, route trees, usage. I mean, I am blue in the face. I'm like, if you gave Marvin Harrison Jr. 10 to 12 targets a game, how much better would this offense be? You a hard time believing. Like last week, we broke it down. The Cardinals offense looked awful to begin that game against New Orleans, and then they forced Marv the ball on one drive, and they had a big play, and then he scored a touchdown. It's like sometimes you just have to get out of your own way. And with Drew, Donnie Drew posted this, like Trey Benson having more catches than Marv yesterday and more yards. Like, what are we doing? But I know exactly what we're doing because I saw this last year. Trey Benson, DeMercado, it doesn't matter. It's like this is who they want to prioritize. They like the short, easy completions to tight ends and running backs. They almost view wide receivers as a niche piece. Michael Wilson has become a niche player where it's like, hey, Michael, we've got some nice routes for you to run in the red zone, but don't ask for anything in between the 20s because we're not going to prioritize you. And when we do, it looks like at the end of the game with the miscommunication. Yeah. You have to have a conversation if you're Monty Austin-Ford with your head coach and say, we either need to lean into this harder and make some personnel changes, or we need to make some coaching adjustments. Yeah. They're not firing Drew Petzing. They're not. They're 2-0. They feel good about where they're at. But you could tell today with Jonathan Gannon, he's going to get those questions until they correct it or don't.
Right. We should hear from the Cardinals head coach. Let's hear it. We've got 2 separate questions that were asked him about Marvin Harrison Jr. and his usage. We've got them, edited together here, so you're going to hear them in its entirety. Here's JG.
It doesn't concern me. The passing game is going to – he's one of the guys that the passing game goes through, so I think we need more production there. But, the play that goes overlooked is a huge DPI early in the game. That's a huge play for us. Had a couple catches. I'm sure he wants some plays back, but he needs his touches. I know that for us to be effective overall as an offense. They did some things that they were very aware of Marv, though. I will say that, too. Yeah, how the game went, if you look at how the game goes, how many plays do we have? 50-something, 40, 50, 53 or something, And then it's kind of a different game there at the end. I honestly, Teo, I never really look at targets as what needs to happen. The ball's going to go where the balls go. I know he has a certain number of plays that he's the read in. If they decide to play a coverage, they have a say too. If they decide to play a coverage that the ball is not going to go there, it's not going to go there. With saying that, I know he needs to touch the football for our offense to be at its premium.
I mean, there's a lot to break down there for sure.
All right, you go ahead. Give me your interpretation of that.
It's just interesting to hear the different variables that go into Marvin Harrison Jr. getting the football, where a lot of people want to just kind of simplify it and say, just target him in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious to think how people would perceive yesterday's performance if that DPI turns into a catch. And so like people just cast it aside, like Kyler or Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have a catch or a target on his stat sheet, but he impacted the play, put the Cardinals in a prime position to cash in. Unfortunately, they had the holding on Trey McBride that, negated that touchdown to Michael Wilson. But, he impacted it, drive one. And then, you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. Like there's still too few targets, in between that. And I agree with that. But, for him to emphasize that the Carolina Panthers were trying to take him out of that is interesting. I think I have somebody's AirPods. Those aren't mine. I thought they were mine.
Is Drew calling you?
I'm just trying to steal somebody's headphones here. But for him to kind of break it down like that, it's still, and the fact that they want to emphasize him getting the football because they understand that that's only going to make it's a premium in their offense. That gives me confidence that they're going to continue to hammer away at this, that they're not going to just like allow this to continue to happen.
If you told me that was a clip from last year, I would believe you.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you said this is actually a presser clip from October of 2024, because I swear I've heard.
So these are falling, even with Gannon's falling on deaf ears. You're over this.
I think for most of the fan base, because we talk about, the passing game goes through 18 and 85, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and unless it doesn't, unless the game dictates, according to the offensive coordinator, it goes through running backs and tight ends and other tight ends. So I feel like I trust their rationale, but in this instance, we're in uncharted territory. And it does feel like the usage reminds me, not the player. And I saw this comparison from Mike Renner from CBS Sports.
Yeah.
And it's scary familiar. This feels like Kyle Pitts with the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur Smith in terms of the usage. And then Kyle Pitts eventually got hurt. And it's just like, we want more. And it's like, is it the player? Is it the personnel? Is it the coach? Is it the quarterback? I don't want to sit here every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and be like, whose fault is it? I just want, just like this fan base, results. Why is it so difficult? You've got, and part of this is the neighbors aspect of it. And now Roma Dunze, a couple picks later, looks good for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
two teams combined 0-4, by the way.
Right. But like, come on, Bo, don't do that. Those two teams didn't play.
Can I do that?
Those two teams didn't play the Saints and the Panthers.
Why? The Giants haven't won a meaningful football game in how many years? And you're like, I want what Neighbors and Russ and whoever the quarterback is at that point.
Well, when they fell apart down the stretch last year, it was because they had no passing game and they couldn't throw the football. They couldn't score points. When the run game failed them and they're like, well, we have to throw, they couldn't. I don't want to go back to last year, but don't act like this is like some small sample size. This is not a small sample size.
I
didn't
act like that.
I know, but we can't
let's put all the facts on the table. I'm saying, and I agree with you guys for the most part.
Malik Neighbors is an unbelievable talent, and they say, you know what, Malik, we're going to throw you the
You're
football.
all we have.
12. No.
Yes.
No, 12 times a game.
You're all we have, Malik.
I'm sorry.
Malik,
is the Cardinals offense, specifically their passing game, good enough for Marvin Harrison Jr. to have 5 targets? Because he's just a spoke in the wheel. He's a cog in the machine. That's basically what you're saying. It's like, we got other mouths to feed. You have one other mouth to feed, and he plays tight end.
Their reluctance to force the issue with Marv bothers me. Right? Where Gannon said it. He said it multiple times. Like if they're gonna double him, we're not gonna try to get the ball to him. Like that's just what he said. That's a philosophy that comes from the top of the coaching staff. So if you're gonna take issue with Drew Petzing, you're taking issue with Jonathan Gannon.
Wando Robinson went for 148.
You're going to find wide receiver performances across the league that you're going to be.
So your argument
is
just wide receiver performances don't necessarily translate to wins.
No, I mean, I wish that they would emphasize that more, but apparently it isn't like it isn't something they value as much as the fan base,
as much as the NFL. I think they are an outlier in their own league, because you could say, well, the Giants didn't win yesterday. The Giants scored like 37 points. The Giants offense was fantastic. Russell Wilson has had a game yesterday that Kyler Murray at this point will not have all year.
Yeah. He lost. You're saying he's going 17-0?
Because his defense, come on, don't do that. Bo, come on. You're smarter than that. Look around the NFL.
I'm messing with you. My God, you guys are so serious about this. I understand.
It's going to impact this team's ability to make the postseason.
I understand. You need to see growth as an offense. You absolutely do. You need to see it. You need to see it stat. You need to see it as early as week 3 against the San Francisco 49ers.
Do you have confidence they can do it this weekend?
I mean, I have no idea. That's the thing about it. It's been so inconsistent. Like you can't forecast it. I've never said give it some time.
No, you've talked about patience for sure. But when you've got a coordinator who's been Drew Petzing's in complete control, by the way, and he's been able to mold this offense into exactly what he wanted. His fingerprints were all over the Tip Ryman pick. Like they've drafted big offensive linemen and big receivers, and it's like this is what Drew wants to do. Extend James Conner. This is Drew's vision. It's not a winning vision right now. It's not a vision that's going to help them get to where they want to be. We saw at the end of last year. All right, we got to go to break again, man.
Tell me more about the Giants' success. Tell me how successful they are.
When are the Cardinals going to score that many points? I don't know. We'll see. You're a dirty dog today. All right, Desert Financial Credit Union. They're my friends. I can trust them. It's my personal credit union. One relationship ends with my co-host, a new one begins. Desert Financial Credit Union. If you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit cards branded for your favorite teams, including the Cardinals, ASU, Northern Arizona. ASU threw the football around. Love that. Sam Levitt looking great.
That was the week before. How many times?
Look for Desert Financial for checking, savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Join a credit union that's committed to giving back to the community and sharing success with their members. Open up a free checking account online. Get $200 in bonuses. $200. I didn't get that. I want that. They can hook you up. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200 to get started.
I love that. Obviously, it's a smart investment to put your money. Desert Financial Credit Union. There have many checking accounts or wherever you're going to do your banking with them. Also, you want to start having your money make some money for you. How about Monarch Money? It's the #1 budgeting app you can find online. Download it today and get half off your first year just by viewing PHNX. Check it out right now. You got a personal CFO right there on your laptop, on your smartphone, where it's going to make you start making smart money decisions. You ever just open up your bank account, you look at your online statement, you're like, where the hell is all my money?
Every day.
Monarch Money is going to put a stop to that. Started using it, started seeing the benefits right away. Do it for yourself as well. Do it for your family. Do it for building wealth right now. Check it out. Download the Monarch Money app. Use it on your desktop as well. Don't let the financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code PHNX at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off the first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code PHNX.
Do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports, hammer that like button as we barrel our way to 50K. We appreciate everybody joining us today. We do it every week at this time. Trending up and trending down. I will defer to my co-host. He's extra spicy today. Bo, who's trending up for you, my guy?
Let's get into it. No, if we could. Sweaty J. I thought Josh Sweat had a fantastic performance yesterday. Thought he got hosed with that late call. in the game where he had the hit on Bryce Young, the hit on the quarterback. You know, this was a guy that you saw him do it in a couple of different ways. He set the tone on the opening drive with the strip sack, got to Bryce Young, and then he showed off his versatility where he's going on he was going after the passer, and then he was able to drop back kind of in coverage and pursue a ball carrier, a wide receiver for a TFL. I was impressed by Josh Sweat yesterday. And then, look, trending up for Calais Campbell, trending down for Father Time. 39-year-old Calais Campbell, 2 sacks, including the game-sealing quarterback on the turf. Love this from Calais Campbell after a bit of a quiet opener. And he's doing it both getting after the passer and also setting the tone and run defense. Love that. And then, of course, the tight ends. I like what I saw from the tight ends yesterday, Johnny. Between Trey McBride and Higgy Bear, you had over 100 yards receiving between the two of them. I thought Higgy Bear, along with Trey McBride, made some big plays for the Cardinals to stockpile points that they needed at the end of the game to just kind of hold on for dear life.
Higgins is a good player. I hope you didn't take my criticism of this passing game as any shade at Higgy Bear. I think he's great. I'm sure you did, smart ass. But I'm a big Elijah Higgins fan. I would prefer that Marvin Harrison Jr. have more catches than a claimed 6th-round tight end. I like your picks. Here's mine trending up for JV here on a Victory Monday. Baron Browning. Give Baron some credit. Had a sack in week 1.
Yeah.
An interception yesterday. He's a nice piece. He's overperforming his contract. He did not look like this last year, but the Cardinals wisely, when they re-signed him, did it before the start of free agency. Then they got Sweaty J and Jordan Birch and Calais and everybody else. And they said, Baron, we're going to have you in a very specific role. You don't have to save this unit like it was the expectation of a lot of people at the trade deadline. So I'm a big Baron Browning fan right now. I think he still has some limitations, but I think he's perfect for what they want to do. Speaking of the defense, right now. Can I say
something on Baron Browning?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the sack in week 1 and then the pick yesterday. I think overall he's playing really well. He's leading the Cardinals with 10 total pressures.
Yeah.
I thought towards the end of the game yesterday, it looked too much like last season. Like, I need to see Baron Browning finish. Really, like he was blown by Bryce Young on what could be sacks. And it would have been, changed the complexion of some of those drives there. But I mean, overall, I like what I've seen from Baron Browning.
I think part of that too was overexposure yesterday. The defense was exhausted. I'd love to see this defense be able to have like a double-digit lead and tee off on opposing teams and not play prevent. Drew Petzing or Nick Rollis, that'd be great. Keitrell Clark, Denzel Burke. I know they took their lumps, specifically Denzel Burke at times. I thought both showed a ton of resiliency on that last drive. Keitrell Clark was actually the highest-rated Cardinal defender. He played sparingly, but they're gonna need him entering these next couple of weeks. Denzel Burke, 5th-rounder, Ohio State, played a ton of big-time college football. Very impressed with both of those, just to kind of keep the train on the tracks at the end of the game. That's a tough assignment. And then Greg Dortch with that big-time return. Greg's not getting any love in the passing game, joined the club for receivers, so he's making the most of it on special teams. So trending up was tough this week. It shouldn't be for a game like that, but let's go into trending down. I'll kick things off, Bo. Looking at this team right now, this is what I don't like. 2024 first-rounders, it's a rough scene. We've talked ad nauseum about Marv. Darius Robinson, for the 2nd straight week, non-factor, was the lowest-rated defensive player for the Cardinals yesterday, according to PFF. He's invisible. And again, Jonathan Gannon told us at the Combine, this is basically like year 1.5 for him. So I think a lot of it is just going to have – you talk about patience. We need patience with D-Rob. Hopefully he finds his footing, but it's bad right now. Speaking of bad, Jonah Williams is – that's just not –
Can I get back on
yeah, go ahead.
As far as the first-rounders, I mean, you've got your last 3 first-rounders as far as yesterday, and I know Walter Nolan is injured. You're just not getting any – you got very little impact from your 3 last first-rounders. And with the Cardinals, with the expectations where they are, and you're a draft and develop team, that just can't consistently happen. I know it was one game, and you got, of course, Marv in week 1, and you still are looking for an impact from Darius, but it's going to have to come. Like, those are money picks. It's good that you're hitting all across the draft. That's new and refreshing for Cardinals fans, but you have to hit on these picks, and you got to have guys that can impact the game.
Yep. Especially now with Max Melton poised to miss some time. There's just too many non-impact players contributing from 2024. Jonah Williams has been bad. There's no other way to say it. He's battling back from injury. I thought last year he was okay to end the year before his injury. This is boiling on like he's just is not a good signing. I mean, that just the entirety of yesterday just looked like he was a turnstile. I think he gave up the lone sack to Kyler Murray yesterday. Too many pressures allowed. But again, it's probably something similar with Darius. Would just let him play through it. And that's what you got to hope, that his resume speaks for itself. And then, I've talked about it, trending down, explosive plays, big dumpster fire yesterday, especially in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, the explosive plays, the second half, you had a couple to start, but they weren't enough following that.
Not to get on a tangent. When was the last time they had an explosive play for a touchdown? They haven't had one of those. A bomb for a touchdown, a 50, 60 plus yard run. They broke a touch, like explosive plays. Awesome. Yeah. Everybody else does that. The Cardinals do not. Off my soapbox here.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I want that for you too. Let's keep it going here. Trending down with mine. I thought, Johnny, I agree with all of them. Run game. What the hell is going on with the run game? This was your calling card. This is how you do play winning football and keep away from the opponent. And you don't allow the door to be swinging wide open, even though you lead 27-3. You got to get the run game going. You're not going to have any success if you're going to take a step back, 2 steps back in running the football. I mean, they're near the bottom of the league. And you've gone against 2 run defenses that were horrible last season, and you just had very subpar performances, and you're going up against the Niners defense that, they take their hits, but they've been good against the run. Cornerback health, it's really unfortunate. We're going to get more into this conversation, but you're down potentially 5. Your 5 top cornerbacks potentially going into this week 3 game. Sean Murphy-Bunting lost in the offseason away from the facility. Starling Thomas in training camp, and your 3 guys yesterday. Cornerback health has taken a hit. That's nothing on the players. It's just it's trending down. It's not going the right direction. And then here you are, friends. After all,
wow,
the wide receivers, even though Michael Wilson had the touchdown catch and that play looked fantastic, you just didn't see, as Johnny's pointed out, as Drew Petzing straight to jail. It's because wide receivers just aren't involved enough in this offense, and we need to see it. There's too much talent in that wide receiver room for them not to consistently impact the game in and game out.
It is a big doo-doo party at the wide receiver position. Doesn't matter. Okay, this kid from the Bucks, the kid from Ohio State, Luka, he's a great player. Would he be great here? I don't think so. Here's what I think. We're going to take a break. We're coming right back. Bo and I are going to talk the status. Max Melton, Garrett Williams, and Will Johnson. It's PHNX. But first, Bo's going to tell us about our friends at Pure Edibles.
Love Pure Edibles. We were hanging out with our guy Ryan on our way to New Orleans. I'll never forget those moments. You can realize that they are a top-notch company. Of course, they started up there in Flagstaff. Now they call it Phoenix home. They're down here in the big leagues. But look, they're all about the great 48th state. They're all about honoring that, being woven within the fabric of Arizona. And they're paying homage to one of the great staples up there in Flagstaff as far as breweries go. And they've got the Mother Road Tower Station collaboration. And that's just one of the many things that they do to celebrate AZ and celebrate gummies and cannabis. And I love Pure Edibles. You need to check them out. They're over in 130 dispensaries. That means there's trust in Pure Edibles from all the dispensaries around town that they got the top product selling on their shelves. And you know exactly what to expect as far as Pure Edibles go. Pure offers gummies for sleep support, as well as candies uplifting effects derived from unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, CBD, and marijuana derived from THC. If you're in Arizona, swing by one of your local dispensaries and grab yourself that Tower Station AIO from Noble Road. Cheers to happy hour all day, every day, Johnny.
Every day, I'm hustling with our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. I cashed in on a tasty little parlay to kick off the early slate. I might have live bet every single NFC West opponent for the Cardinals. That's called an emotional hedge, friends. And it hurt my heart, but it helped my wallet. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlays. Selections marked as winners. Download the app today, PHNX 365, when you sign up. Last season, both money lines were paid out 4 times because of the early payout and the end result in the game. Again, this applies to college football as well. New customers get $300 in bonus bets when you bet 5, win or lose. Sign up. Use the bonus code PHNX365, deposit 10. Place a bet, $5, get $300 in bonus bets. You got to be 21 years and older, physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Both for more info.
Love it. Monty Austin's burner. Got the Johnny Chug emoji going on. Mike dropping the HPL. Those members out there really kind of they're getting what they paid for. And I love to see it in the chat. Let's get to these cornerbacks real quick, Johnny. Jonathan Gannon didn't have an update today, as he often doesn't on Monday. They're still going through evaluations. But as I pointed out, as far as the corner health is trending down, it's very serious as far as all 3 of these guys. I think it's a long shot if any of them see the field in Santa Clara and anytime soon.
Yeah, it's tough. I think all 3 are poised to miss time. The severity to each is unknown.
Yeah.
I think the most concern, and you and I are just speculating here, is to Garrett Williams, because his was mostly non-contact. You did see Max Melton leave the facility yesterday with a knee brace, and he was smiling on his Instagram, and it was a bang play where his knee hit somebody else's.
Yeah.
So maybe a bone bruise there. I have no idea. And then Will Johnson, we started the post-game show and assumed he was okay, and he has a groin. And so the limitations, he had to leave the game as well in the fourth quarter. So I think Will Johnson would probably be the closest to come back. I have no idea, along with Max Melton. And I think Garrett Williams, that's going to be the tough one if that notification hits the timeline. The Cardinals are going to have to be proactive and get some help. And I think you're not going to be able to get anybody this week that could come in and make an impact. I think that's why, you're going to have to do your best to contain Mac Jones. I mean, for a game like this to happen where you're down 5 corners, really 3 corners, 4 corners with Starling Thomas, this is the game to do it. This is Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, no George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk's in, concussion protocol. They're missing offensive linemen. They're missing their quarterback. It's going to be Keitrell Clark. It's going to be Elijah Jones. We got a graphic here I want to show you after we go into OT, but here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to make excuses. Teams are missing their franchise quarterbacks. Teams are missing their starters. The Cardinals, it's a bloodbath at corner right now. You got to figure out a way to deal with it. It's the NFL. This is just the unfortunate part of the game.
Yeah. And a big thank you to everybody who's tuning in via our TV partners out there. We're hitting the end of the road here. Make sure you log on to GoPHNX.com for more PHNX Cardinals. You want to get that graphic up here? I don't think anybody's going to use injuries as an excuse, especially
overtime.
Yeah. If they could have, just the way that the defense is built now, I don't know if they could have survived last season. They could. But now with their ability to create pressure, and then outside of Walter Nolan be pretty, stout up front, I think that does give you ability to put some youngsters back there and put some guys who are, viewed as, pedestrian to maybe even below average, according to league standards. You have the ability to kind of keep your head above water with these guys that you have in place. And I think Denzel Burke and Keitrell Clark and Darren Hall potentially being elevated and being able to play nickel, that should be enough with what you have up front.
Jalen Thompson can also play nickel corner. Yeah. He played a lot of that early in his career. Taylor Demerson then slides in for Jalen Thompson. Jalen Thompson's had a great start to the season. Let's take a look, because a lot of people are asking, what is the likelihood of who's playing this weekend? They're the healthy corners. So Keitrell, Denzel Burke, they both played the final possession. Elijah Jones, throw him in there. I mean, you know what, or get off the pot. You're a third rounder. Time to help the team. And then Darren Hall, who had an exceptional preseason. It's got some good ball skills. And then you get the free agent slew. We're highlighting Stephon Gilmore. He's an old player, 34, but he had a nice year last year for the New England Patriots. James Bradbury, we'll see. I don't know his relationship with Gannon. Mike Hilton, Kendall Fuller, and then one name that's not on here, people tagging us, Asante Samuel Jr. is not healthy.
Yeah.
They brought him in for a visit in the offseason. He's had issues with, I believe, his neck, and he is aiming per like Jordan Schultz through his agent for a midseason return. So I do think they're going to sign a free agent corner. And I think all those players on the left are going to be brought up.
Yeah.
You have to speculate, like, assuming Will and Max miss significant time, are they put on IR to return? Do you carry them week to week? I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah. I like all the guys on the right. I think that those are good options. And, you know, them playing Clark, Burke, Jones, and Darren Hall so much in the preseason has them, you know, in a position to where they can contribute as you get whoever you bring up to speed. But I think it's inevitable at this point. You have to add somebody just based on how ravaged you are by injuries at that position. So if you can do what you did against Bryce Young up front, like, anybody can just sit there and watch tip balls and go and make a play on it. It makes it a lot easier, the ability to rush like that. You got to do it consistently, but I didn't see, you know, a big drop off in coverage. And I'm excited to see like a guy like Burke get an opportunity. I know you got the good with the bad with him. And I think Keytrell didn't give up a catch, right? In like 15.
He was good.
Yeah. 15 snaps on defense. So
listen, there's going to be a drop off, but here's what I'll say to that. Guess who needs to pick it up? The other side of the field. Other side of the field. I have no patience, if you didn't see the earlier segment or if you've never subscribed to the show, welcome, friends, to Kyler Murray in this offense getting outrun and outscored by Mac Jones and Sam Darnold in your building.
Mm-hmm.
Can't happen. Like,
right.
I don't want to hear any, we're down some cornerbacks. Big deal. It's the NFL. They're down their tight end. Their number one wide receiver, their quarterback. I don't think Brock Purdy, people are asking the chat, I don't think Purdy's playing. I think the team is playing with house money with Mac Jones, and they don't want to rush Purdy back after what happened to Joe Burrow. So no excuses. And Gannon, they're not making excuses, but I'm coming out being proactive with Bo and saying, I'm not going to sit here on the post-game show if they take an L on Sunday from Gila, and it's just like, well, you know, it was tough to watch Elijah Jones try to cover Ricky Pearsall. Give me a break. Go score 30 points against this team.
Well, like Mac Jones isn't good enough to where if the pressure is where it needs to be, that he's going to be throwing darts out there,
right,
to Ricky Pearsall and making window throws and you know, threading the needle like that. That would have people infuriated. But if you get enough pressure, like we've seen it, to where you can elevate a pedestrian to below average secondary. And it's not a knock on those guys, but like as far as Darius Robinson, you got to have your best performance. You got to be a part of the solution as far as ratcheting up the pressure. I think Nick maybe gets more exotic with his blitz packages potentially. But no, I mean, I said this much at the end of yesterday's postgame. Like, as far as weather in the storm here, offensively, you have to be more buttoned up. You have to take a step because, you're not going to have the luxury of a defense going out there and getting stop after stop after stop. Like, I still have a lot of confidence in this defense. It's just, it's taking some hits.
This offense, you talk about people on a breaking point. Everybody knows now the defense is a little bit more vulnerable than it was to start yesterday. And so I think universally people are under the assumption like, well, guess what unit needs to pick up the slack? It's the offense. The offense, no excuses. And like this game, it comes down to you're paying Kyler Murray big time money to go to San Francisco and beat Mac Jones in a divisional game. You got the fortune, no matter what your secondary looks like, on the calendar to go to San Francisco, where I'm sorry, the Niners, they gave up 3 passing touchdowns to Spencer Rattler. That game was close in the fourth quarter. They should have lost the week before. I'm so over the Niners, but I will have to eat infinite crow if Kyler Murray and this offense wets the bed in Santa Clara against Robert Saleh. Like this, I don't think I can emphasize this enough. And I know Purdy's probably not going to play and they're missing playmakers. We're going to find out so much about the makeup and the goods of this regime, like this current innovation of the Cardinals, about how they look on Sunday. If they look great and they answer the bell, then everybody is rebought back in and faith is restored. If they look like dog water again in the second half and they let Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh undress them with Mac Jones, it's going to put into question everything. Because newsflash, you're never going to have a season without injuries. It's not going to be perfect always. You got Trey and Marv and Kyler and Paris and James Conner. Go win a flipping game.
Right.
Like this is if you're in year 3 of a rebuild and this Niner team is vulnerable, you should be able to take them out this weekend. I don't want to hear. I'm at a little bit of a breaking point right now. I need to see a definitive statement win. You told me before the show, it's like Gannon needs a statement win to kick off this year.
Love to see it. It would kind of change the tone of holding on for dear life against 2 bad teams.
Yeah.
And if you took the names off the team away from it, you just simply put 2 pieces of paper down with the skill players or just the offenses, you'd say what you mentioned, Kyler Murray, James Conner, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride is going to take out Mac Jones, sure, Christian McCaffrey, and Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings. And whoever else. I mean, it would be overwhelming how many people say this offense should be the victorious one come Sunday.
And like Robert Saleh has helped them. They're not a disaster defensively, but again, you can score on them. You can throw the football on them. You can run the ball on them. This is such a pivotal game because I really do think like they perform well. Buckle up. This team, we got some real juice. But man, if they underperform and it's the offense is the culprit, gonna be really disappointing for this fan base because it's like doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter who you got in the lineup, you're gonna lose belief from people. And there ain't no way that this team needs to be losing to Mac Jones. And I don't think Brock Purdy plays. Even if he was playing, I would like the Cardinals' chances. I don't think
we've liked this. We've had this game circled since it was announced in May. You know that the Cardinals the last year have matched up well. Personnel, they're way more physical than San Francisco is now. Like you just can't do the things that you've done to potentially leave the door open for a loss. Like you're the better team. You should go in there. I don't care if it's a hostile environment and there's a home field advantage. You're the better team. You should go get the dub.
Yep. We're getting a dub with all of you with 15 plus super chats, notifications. Let's kick things off. Turtle Trolls 199, Bo. Seeing no injury updates yet makes me hopeful. I think, Bo, would you disagree with that?
Yeah, I disagree with that. This is kind of business as usual, how the Cardinals approach injuries. Like, I don't think not having any information on Monday is a positive sign. I think that it's they're just kind of figuring everything out. I don't think that they want to telegraph that they would be maybe in the market to sign somebody at a specific position. And they also want to they don't want the players or anybody else, the family, to find out that they've been hurt that way. So I think that in the end of that, I don't think it plays that big a role, but traditionally it's like he'll get in there at 2:45, say they're still evaluating. And then we find out either through reports, in the that day or the following day. And then if not, he'll tell us definitively on Wednesday.
Yeah. And we're I think everybody just needs to prepare for significant,
Buckle up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Biscuits and Bear, new member. Thank you so much, Biscuits and Bear. We appreciate you.
Been
busy with those emojis
for a long time. Yeah, love the Biscuits and the Bear. Great stuff. What is that? What's his avatar of? Is that a
bear with a biscuit? I think.
All right, makes sense.
It does. AZ fan in LA, $10. Thank you so much for the support on that level, AZ fan in LA. Hey guys, I've been a fan since both switched from Locked On. Wow, special. First super
Nice.
chat here. Who would you get as the new rivalry jersey? Can't decide between Connor and Buddha.
AZ fan in LA, thanks for making the switch. Thanks for following. I appreciate it. More than you know. Rivalry jersey between Buddha and Connor. Those are some established vets there. I thought you might want to go younger, but hey, you can't go wrong with a 3 or 6. I would probably go with Buddha.
Correct. I think so too. I think I love James. I think that Buddha's an all-timer. He's going to be, I think, a borderline Hall of Famer, and they need him right now. So yeah. Bo and I are on the same page there. B's $10 or $2. Excuse me. Happy Whiners Hate Week to all JV rants all week.
Johnny made the prediction on the defensive touchdown. I'm going to predict a healthy dose of Johnny rants throughout this week. No doubt about it. I'm here for it.
I'd love to predict a Marv big day on Sunday. I just can't do it anymore. Darth Vader $4.99. If they're using Marv wrong, how else do you fix it other than replacing Drew Petzing? You can't. You can't fire Drew Petzing and assume Drew Terrell, who I like Drew. The one preseason game he called was really bad. Now it was with Clayton Tune, but this Drew Terrell works under Drew Petzing. It's the same scheme. Would have needed to be done, Darth Vader, in January. They were going to move off him. It would have been done in January. They would have brought somebody in, said, hey, we're going to tweak some things. We're going to prioritize X, Y, and Z. I think that's kind of the somber piece of it, is that this is the offense. Now they can evolve and they can execute a little bit better. But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Bo, if the offense is the reason they don't make the playoffs and Jonathan Gannon and Monty Austin Ford aren't extended and they go into the second to last year of their contract.
Yeah.
Guess what? Then Drew is being fired. Then they are looking for a new quarterback. But we got to, 15 more games plus to go to decide on that.
Yeah, long way to get to there. But no, I was having a conversation with somebody before the show talking about this, where it's if they have, in the standings, subpar performance, which would be below the standards I think that they have in place. I think they firmly believe they can be a playoff team. They fall short of that, and the offense is definitively the reason for that. Heads are going to roll. A head is going to roll. So we'll see. We got to see how that plays out and who's to blame.
Tyler P, $6.99 Canadian. You guys railed on Jonah Williams, but Isaiah Adams has been atrocious through 2 games. His PFF grade is 39.8. Pull him immediately, Bo.
Look, I mean, thankfully you've been able to survive and advance here as far as, winning the football game while your right guard has not played his best ball. It's I believe it was his 7th start of his NFL career. What we saw from Isaiah Adams, I think, in the preseason and training camp was very encouraging. So it is kind of surprising to see him struggle as much as he has. But I think, especially with Will Hernandez working his way back, this is a guy you play until it's too much to take. Because who are you putting in there right now? You're putting in John Gaines for Isaiah Adams? I don't think so. I think you want to continue to try to develop him here on the fly while you can.
My good coaches help young players work through trouble spots.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for Marv. I think that goes for Trey Benson, Isaiah Adams. If you're worth your salt as a coach, as a position coach, you coach them up.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Isaiah Adams is not the only one. Everybody but Paris right now is underperforming on the offensive line.
Yeah.
They miss Clayton Adams, and I think Justin Fry will be fine, but this stuff with Jonah Williams is just really disheartening.
And could that go to, and we'll talk to Baldy about this on Wednesday. He made this point, a couple of years ago, DJ Humphries was taking a lot of flack for how poorly he was playing in his final season with the Cardinals. And Baldy's like, look, guys, his left tackle or his left guard, Elijah Wilkinson, is atrocious. And that's taking his play down. Could Isaiah Adams be kind of a victim of that? I'd love to hear Baldy's thoughts on that. But hey, look, it's something you got to monitor. It's not something we're like, hey, you just got to play Isaiah Adams until he gets better. It's not inevitable.
No,
he does have to show, progress.
Only Drew Petzing gets that kind of free pass. B's $2. I shouldn't know Drew's next play call. That's the point. What did you think of like the runs on second and third and long yesterday? Those bother you?
Trying to think about the game situation. It was very predictable, no doubt about it. Almost on a parody level. I thought the drive where Marv had the drop, they were able to overcome that, and then they also had yelled for a hold with the face mask, and they had a hold. The fact that there was like 2nd and 25, and they were able to still get points, and they had kind of surrendered in that sense, but to keep Chad Ryland, like they got to play to get in field goal position, I have no problem with that.
Keegan, $4.99.
You don't like points?
I do like it. That is a good point. Our offense has yet to be in a spot to play from behind. That's why stats don't jump. Stats will come in shootouts, which we've avoided to be 2-0. I would push back, Keegan, and say last year they fell behind the likes of the Rams, the Seahawks, the Vikings, and could not throw downfield. And I also push back, like when they needed to get first downs the last 2 fourth quarters to put this game away, the offensive positions have been atrocious. So I think they're a front-running team. I think they do very poorly with offensive adversity. I do not think they have the infrastructure to get chunk plays. I think everything has to go a very specific way for them, and that's the ceiling piece. Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner, the years where this franchise could cook with gas in the passing game, you were never threatened by a down and distance. It is a cold, dark reality when this team has 2nd and 20, 2nd and 15. Like you're done. You might as well punt the football.
But they've done pretty well in 3rd and long situations compared to last year.
Let's throw a parade.
You want progress? Wow.
Yeah, it looks great. I love it.
Always getting spicier as the show moves on here. Who are we at here? Yeah, Bees, our guy Bees. Mike McCoy, how dare you, inspires more creative than Drew.
Mike McCoy didn't have a good head coach. Jonathan Gannon is a buffer for Drew Petzing with this fan base right now. And Jonathan Gannon is winning games ugly. If the tide turns, though,
sure,
that's going to be the key. You said to me like off air earlier today, it's like, is this just how they're going to win games all year? No. Like, let me ask you that. Is this? I asked BG yesterday. Oh, sorry. I asked BG yesterday. Is this sustainable? Like, if this is what it looks like all year, is this sustainable to make the playoffs?
I mean, what we've seen is what Keegan was pointing out, though. I thought it was a great point, even though you pushed back.
I didn't.
Shoving them around. Like, they haven't played really from behind at all. I mean, I know the Saints had an early lead, and they changed that very quickly. But, yeah, we don't know. So it is if the Cardinals get out to a good lead and have it in the second half, I guess like there's worse ways to make a living, but I understand the point.
Darth Vader 199. They do if all three. What do they do if all 3 cornerbacks can't go this week? They elevate all the guys they have, and it's an all hands on deck approach.
Yeah, I think Elijah Jones would be active, and he was supposed to be your break glass in case of emergency guy. He's supposed to be somebody who was developing without the threat of playing. So yeah, you've got that, and I think you signed somebody.
You got 2 veteran safeties. You got a third safety we all love. You've got a corner in Keitrell Clark who's starting a ton of games.
I think between Rab and Jalen Thompson and Darren Hall, like that should be enough to where you feel comfortable. You're not going to get the elite play like you got from Garrett Williams, but you can get, replaceable production there. And then the outside corner spots, those are going to be the ones where like you're just going to have to take Denzel Burke going out there and competing, and then see what you can get from Keitrell Clark, and then whoever you add to that outside corner rotation. Is it Jones or is it somebody you bring in?
Fillions, favorite horse. Love that little pony. $5. Realistically, we didn't draft Joe Alt. Why didn't we draft Joe Alt? If this is how Petzing is going to operate this offense, love MHJ, but if we aren't going to use him, why did we draft him? It's the $1 million question right now. This is a little inside baseball story. So we were at the Combine, was it 2 years ago? And we met Jonathan Gannon in the hallway. Bo and I did. And I think maybe producer Damon. And we're just kind of shooting the breeze, and Joe Alt walked by and he said, that guy is unbelievable. Just had a great meeting with him.
Yeah.
And so we knew they liked Joe Alt.
Yeah.
But they really liked Marv.
Mm-hmm.
And they liked Malik Neighbors. They did top 30 visits. They chose a player that they thought transcended even what they wanted to do offensively. We made the case that entire draft season. It was like, they don't want to be a team that takes skill players in the top 10.
Yeah.
But this player trumps that. Their usage. Go ahead.
What wide receiver do you get in the second round? Because I mean, you get no Xavier Legette. That's not doing anything for you. Do you get who were the guys that were available?
You're probably more active in free agency. You probably get a wide out in free. I mean, with the usage of the wide receivers, like why are you using premium picks on them if you don't utilize them? What? Are you frozen? Am I frozen? I think Bo's frozen. Chat, keep me honest. Is Bo frozen right here? Or am I out? People are saying lad in the chat. I'm still live. I think we lost Bo Brock. Z Warlock, tell me in the chat, Bo is frozen. Okay, we're going to keep things going here with the super chats. Thanks, everybody, for keeping things going. Taco Corp, $4.99, $4 for a block. $4.99. Number 4 for a blocking wide receiver and 82 for a blocking tight end. Zero chance this was the plan when you drafted MHJ. I'd like to hear how Drew pitched this to Monty. I think there are probably some very disappointing conversations that are had with Monty Ossenford and Dave Sears damn near every day. I think this franchise is very, very disappointed. Even though I asked Monty Ossenford in a press conference, point blank to his face, what's your thoughts on Marv? And they said, we're thrilled with Marv. And I believe that. Marv works incredibly hard. He's A-plus person. He's everything you want in a player. And the usage and lack of development and inconsistency with Kyler Murray and then his own growing pains all adds up to be what we've gotten so far. So, and it's really in Taco Corp, like the Tip Ryman thing, the part of the reason that sticks with me is because of what it represents. If Marv was what we expected, then the Tip Ryman thing wouldn't bother me. But it's like, oh man, Tip Ryman, a blocking tight end at 82. Hey guys, maybe figure out how to use the 4th overall pick before we make this like a gimmick. If it just feels like a gimmick. And by the way, you can't run block right now, even with Tip Ryman. Keeping things going here. Darth Vader, $199. Do we draft a tackle next draft? I mean, like on the surface, yes, but like right now they're having a tough time developing offensive linemen. Like Clayton Adams could do it. Can Justin Fry? But yes, I would say first round, second round offensive tackle. Doesn't look like edge rusher is as big of a need. I mean, like, I think the entire offense is going to be under a microscope. The majority of like your pieces defensively that are like cornerstones are young, tons of young corners, 2 first round defensive tackles. You got a bunch of edge rushers under contract. Safeties are fine. It's the offense, tackle, quarterback, receiver. I mean, like they could look at everything. Who's calling the plays next year? That would probably play a part in it. Goat 12, tyrannical Goat 12. Thank you so much. $10. If this was the offense they were going to run, they should have taken Alted 4. Man, a lot of this today. And people, again, these are valid concerns. So it's either malpractice not using MHJ or malpractice by even drafting him. Both are a waste of the 4th pick up until this point. They have wasted him. Two things can be true. He's not as good as Malik Neighbors right now. And and I don't know if he'll ever be on this team. And his usage has been a joke. Like Malik Neighbors can be the better wide receiver and Marv can still be great. But I don't know if we'll ever know if Marv can be great in this infrastructure right now. And I think anybody telling you otherwise is just hoping. I've run out of hope with this. I need to see it happen. I need to see it transpire. Loso, $5. Petzing doesn't know how to scheme wide receivers. He barely knows how to run the ball. This is a return of Bo Brock. You guys lose.
I won't be silenced. I won't be silenced. I know you cut the fiber. You made sure I was going to be silenced. No, great job by Johnny holding it down. You guys are crushing in the chat. Petzing doesn't know his scheme wide receivers. He barely knows how to run the ball. He knows how to run the ball. It's been a tough start. Gannon talked about that today, and I think that's going to be a big emphasis. I know that's not what people want to hear, but it's important for this offense. If you're looking for them to show any kind of success as far as running offense, you're going to have to establish the run with James Conner and get Trey Benson more involved.
Louis 199. The Winers suck. We need a big win Sunday. Yeah, I mean, like,
Love that.
They could cure so many ailments with this fan base with a big decisive win and a big game by this offense on Sunday. And that's the beauty of the NFL, Louis. Yeah. You're always one game away from really kind of taking care of business and putting the concerns at ease.
You guys are unbelievable. You're crushing it with these super chats and in the chat. And these are going towards the Big Brother, Big Sisters too,
yes,
right? So you're donating to a great cause. It's going on all month, all September. So it's not lining Johnny's fat pockets out there. Let's keep it going. How about Monty Austin Fort's burner? How many games like this until we talk new OC? I mean, I think as long as they have a win, there isn't going to be a whole lot of pushback, I think, from people that matter. Like, there's going to be the fan base. There's going to be on this show. There's going to be talking points about it. But as long as they win football games, Johnny, I don't think there's going to be a lot of heat on Drew Petzing's seat.
Well, it was something we talked about when you left the show, selfishly, is that, like, what do you think Monty Austin Ford and Dave Sears think watching this usage of Marv? What do you think? Monty told us over the summer, he was like, we love Marv. And I believe that they love Marv. And he does and says all the right things. He works his butt off. He's in the facility. He's a really genuine human being. But how do you think they feel about his usage?
You ever get somebody like a really nice gift and they never use it? I mean, I think that's kind of the analogy, right?
Like when I bought you that toaster oven, you've never used it.
That's right. It's still in the packaging. So that's probably the feel. Let's keep it going here. AZ Moses, 89. Any explanation on why ESPN has Stephon Gilmore as a Cardinal? Just thought that was super random. There was a Stephen Gilmore. His brother was on the team. I don't know if Stephen Gilmore on the practice squad. I have to double check that, but I don't know. That's strange. I have to double check that.
That's too big of a signing for it to kind of go under the radar. Yeah. I have not heard anything about Stephon Gilmore. It doesn't mean that they couldn't add him. He's in a group of about 5 guys.
Yeah, they don't have Stephen Gilmore. They cut him, when they cut down to the 53. Yeah. They never brought him back in any capacity.
A name I threw out on go ahead.
Noah?
It is weird when you Google Stephon Gilmore, ESPN says Stephon Gilmore - Arizona Cardinals cornerback.
Screenshot that.
We're shadowing. No, Greg Newsome is a player I would look at. They've liked him previously. The Browns are a disaster. They're 0-2. He's kind of fallen out of favor. He gave up a touchdown yesterday. Like, if this continues, I'm not saying that they would make a move now, but if this continues, like Greg, I could absolutely see them trading for Greg Newsome.
I like that.
They really like Greg Newsome. Dana R, $5. I was wrong. They pin and pull badly, pulling guard slow, play side guard, and center not getting to the second level. The all-22 is hard to watch. They miss Clayton Adams. Clayton Adams pressed all the right buttons. And now we know. I mean, like, I gave Drew a ton of credit for offensive line development over the summer. A lot of that credibility and cachet is gone in 2 games because the offensive line build does not look the same.
Yeah, it was a big play that they found a ton of success in, and 49ers are one of the teams that are really kind of slowing down that type of blocking scheme. Let's keep it going with Loso. $2, no risk it, no biscuit. A lot of people would love to just turn back the clock for a Bruce Arians coached offense. How about our guy, the 90s Poppy? D-Rob looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane, Johnny.
One of the biggest disappointments is when we were at training camp, I put out tons of tweets. Bo was standing right next to me. The 2 best players at training camp for large stretches of time were Marv and Darius Robinson. I don't know what's happening. I think Marv, it's a usage problem, and D-Rob, it's a welcome to the NFL problem. I'm going to give D-Rob the entire season before I make a definitive statement. Last year was such a wash, and he's such a great person. I'm not ready to say this guy's a bust. If you want to talk about that in January, if he doesn't play well, we'll have that conversation. But I will be positive with D-Rob. Dalvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell looked bad last week, and then they got it going yesterday.
Yeah.
Give D-Rob a little bit more time.
Bees, $2. Boys, Drew will figure it out. Me when I lie. Oh, Bees.
Love you, Bees.
It's nasty work making me read that one. How about Darth Vader? Does Marv need to catch with his hands more?
Yeah. I mean, Marv has things to work on. Marv absolutely has things to work on. But we mentioned in the postgame show, because his targets are so few and far between, like it exacerbates his mistakes.
It's tough to get in rhythm. It's tough to he's got a skill set that should be enough to be successful. I'm not overly concerned about what people deem as an issue catching with his hands. Keegan, $4.99. For this reason, I have a point. We can officially judge the offense as a whole once we have shootout and play from behind. Until then, we'll take the W's.
If they win ugly on Sunday, I'll agree with you. If they're against a team that is on paper 2-0, Panthers and Saints are bad teams. Dana R, $5. All 22 watch. D-Rob contain and 2-gap look fine. Forward lean gets snatched, stops. Feet to hand fight. Needs hand inside on the bull. Swim more. His technique needs work. He's a powerful guy. I'm with you, Dana. I think he'll be okay. I too much faith in who's coaching him, who's coordinating his defense. We're getting nothing from, as Bo mentioned, D-Rob and Walter Nolan. Like, that's not going to stay that way.
Yeah,
they're gonna have good games this year.
Dana Ball Knower continues. See, JC 2.2 yards before contact. His O-line is an O-line stat.
I think you can make a case the entire team should have been playing a lot of reps in the preseason. I will die on that hill. I think the offensive line, defensive line could have used more refinement. But they're 2-0. Ugly 2-0.
Darth Vader, if we make the playoffs, maybe Drew Petzing gets a head coaching job.
They make the playoffs, everybody gets extended, and I'll sit here and say, like, I don't love how it looks, but they get it done. But Michael Bidwell wants to extend Gannon and Monty Austin Ford, but you have to see this through.
Yeah.
And the
schedule performance for sure.
Schedule's too easy. You got to take care of business. Tyrannical Goat 12. Steven would be a good Stefan, would be a good vet for Will Johnson to learn from. I think they need somebody with some playing experience. Goat. I think they need somebody who started games in the NFL that's not just an in-house guy.
Getting one in here. How about Jenga Man? 64, $5 Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Can't wait for our friends over at Bird Gang Travel to score a big partnership with NASA and get Drew Petzing a one-way ticket to Mars.
What a super chat. That is one of the best super chats in the history of the show, Jenga Man. That
he wants to blast Drew Petzing off into space.
Hey, it's Bird Gang Travel here, and we have an offer for you, Drew Petzing, sent to Mars. That's unbelievable. That's an unbelievable super chat. Yeah. You guys are the best, man. It
really is awesome.
We are looking for some likes and some subscribers here, and you guys keep us honest every single day. Love it so much.
Johnny, I'm sorry I was nasty to you today.
You weren't nasty to me.
Okay, good. You were pretty mean to me.
Listen,
so I'll expect an apology.
Listen, no, never.
Handwritten.
For those of you who don't know, I love, everybody who covers this team, people do it their way. We do it our way. This is not going to be shill boys with the team 2-0. Bo takes an approach where he's with the team every day, and you respect that, and it's part of the process. I'm an extension of what I see, like all of you watching on my TV, and I've watched a lot of bad offensive football the last half year plus, and I would just love a complete game from this offense that features a player that, we're talking about Marv now. That's just like, hey, can you just like get him the ball instead of like, we could do a whole show on like Marv was supposed to be Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. And it's like, now it's like, what are we even doing? This just, you feel like you're robbed as a fan, and that's the toughest part.
Yeah.
You were expecting something, and we had all the hype, and yes, we're guilty of that. And now it's just like, unlike a defensive player or a quarterback or an offensive lineman, the receiver position is so predicated on rhythm with a quarterback and getting the football. I mean, AJ Brown's not getting passes thrown to him right now because they're winning a very specific style of play.
No, but we're not going to get forced into like Stockholm syndrome where we're just like, oh, we're just going to accept this. We see the talent and them not, feeding or trying to embolden that talent. I think it's 19 games into this. They do have to take a step this season. I think they have to take a definitive step as far as the passing game between Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. They've got 2 performances under their belt, 1 good, 1 bad. Like if they can start to find some rhythm next week and stack and build upon that, like I think that's going to bode well for what they want to do offensively.
I'll tell you what I don't love real quick is just, I love JG, but I don't love like JC Horn. They really made it a priority to like cover Marv.
Well, it's not just JC Horn. It's JC Horn help.
I know, but this is the NFL. If that was the case, then no number 1 receivers would have good games. Like guess what? You're going to face good DBs all year. I don't love that.
Well, you're going to be in a gotta have it situation, and you got to have playmakers. And you had it last year with Marv. I mean, when I think of Santa Clara, I think of that 4th down play that he made.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Let's see more of that. Loso here, right before the final buzzer. I'm beginning to think Bo drives a Prius. Johnny?
I'm not saying that. People are saying it. Bo and Drew matching Priuses?
I drive a Hyundai.
Bo has a truck with a lift kit on it. Loso.
I don't have a lift kit.
He's got a custom lift kit, and it's difficult for me to get into his truck. So
I'll give you a boost. Get on up there, Johnny.
Oh, man. Can't believe this team's 2-0. Welcome to the show. Bo and I have been doing this show together for 4 years. This is the first time this team's 2-0.
Unbelievable. V's, Bo's knows trucks.
He does. Brian saying every truck is lift kitted for JV. That's rude. That's hurtful. I'll tell you what, real quick.
Yeah.
Ken Rosenthal making short guys look bad. I would never do that. That guy sucks.
I saw his response. I didn't listen to it. Have you heard his response?
And that, like, I'm taller than Ken Rosenthal. Smug mug his apology. Get out of here, Ken Rosenthal.
You can't run into somebody and then mean mug them like that.
Could you imagine if I did that? Like I did that to one of our producers and I just like stood over them. Like, what a scumbag. He's a scumbag.
Cool bow tie, bro.
Yeah. Like, why don't you help your sport out and not be a jerk? People are just immediately going to be like, goodbye, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
That and Drew Petzing this weekend bothered me.
Yeah.
My fellow short brethren, do better. Drew, Ken Rosenthal, trending down should have been short people.
Short kings.
Yeah.
They're trending down. But I think it's too nice to call Ken Rosenthal a short king.
No. It's a loser. Monty Austin Ford. Burner, that's right. PHNX dub. Remind everybody, become a supporter, become a diehard, go PHNX.com. We appreciate everybody. Thanks for helping us become the #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Banner post-game show yesterday with over 1,200 live viewers. Loso, Bo has a squatted Prius. What is that? Like a low to the ground Prius?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's where you got the wheels that kind of jet out.
Yeah, he's got some camber and some bags on it.
What's so bad about
a woofer in the back?
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe some LED lighting. Sounds cool.
Yeah, get some underglow. Maybe some AutoZone parts on there. Just slap them on.
Just get not actual NOS, but just get some something that looks like I have it in my car.
Spinners on this Prius.
You can get the NOS energy drinks and then put it in your cup holder.
I love the NFL hat. Rob Lowe from Max for his profile pic. Yeah.
BE says it well. We're undefeated. Enjoy it. I agree. I'm happy for Jonathan Gannon, who's 7-3 in his last 10 home games. That's not lost on this podcast. I think we want more. Will we get more? Cardinals, basically a pick 'em at San Francisco this weekend. We're going to cover it wall to wall. We got Baldy returning this week. What did the tape tell Baldy pertaining to this offense? Marv, Darius, we're going to ask him. Plus, of course, Hold or Fold the Line returns on Wednesday. Bo, in the meantime, my guy, be well.
You as well. Talking to Drew Petzing, Nick Rollis, Jeff Rogers tomorrow. It's coordinator day out of the facility. You'll get all the sights and sounds. PHNX_Cardinals. Make sure you're following along Twitter, Instagram. Follow Johnny Venerable. Follow myself. Follow Noah if you please. He's a big guy on Twitter, on the bird.
The biggest.
Yeah, look, enjoy 2-0 at the very least. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Brand new episode of PHNX Cardinals tomorrow, 4:30.
We all silly like the mayor.